The Torah is holy and divine, but it's also relevant and timely. And there's a few great examples in this week's Parshat Vayera. This learning will be in the merit of the elevation of the soul of my grandmother, Esther Bat Shaul. So we are fully in the story of Avraham. So the story, this Parsha begins with a very famous story, which is Avraham has just been circumcised at the age of 99. And in a few days after his circumcision, he's visited by some angels. And he loves hosting. He's the, beacon of Hachnasat Orchim, the welcoming of guests. And Avraham is feeling down, and so God sends these angels to him, and Avraham rushes to prepare food for him, or to have Sarah, his wife, prepare food for them. But he doesn't overpromise. He says, I'm going to give you some bread so you're not weary on your travels. And then he brings out like cakes and milk and lamb and all these things. So that the message there is under promise and over deliver. The angels then say, where's your wife? Your wife is going to have a child in a year. That means that Sarah will be 90 years old and Avraham will be 100 years old when they have their first child together, Yitzchak. And that is a child that they've waited decades and decades for. That is a beautiful redemption of a promise. And keep that in mind. Okay, so the next famous story is Avraham has a cousin, Lot. Lot lives in the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And these are bad places. There's bad things happening in these cities. They're so terrible and destitute and just awful. And these people are such criminals and yada, 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 that God decides this city needs to be destroyed. It needs to be started over. And Avraham comes out and he says some really moving stuff, okay? Avraham came forward and said, will you sweep away the innocent along with the guilty? What if there should be 50 innocent within the city? Will you then wipe out the place and not forgive it for the sake of those innocent 50 who are in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing. Far be it from you, God, to bring death upon the innocent as well as the guilty, so that innocent and guilty fare alike. Far be it from you. Shall not the judge of the earth deal justly? That is what the kids call a reed. Avraham has just given God a reed. Why? Because Avraham is being put as a juxtaposition, a foil to Noach, the other hero that we've met recently. Noach was told, I'm going to destroy the earth by God. And he said, okay, I guess I'll build this ark. And if I don't get anyone else to join the ark with me, fine, whatever. I guess I won't have them join the ark. Avraham is not that kind of leader. Avraham is the first Jew, and he is acting like the first Jew, which is, I don't see the world for how it is. I see the world how it should be. Then there's an even more famous part of this parsha, and that's where this bit about Yitzchak comes in. God tells Avraham, take your son Yitzchak, the one whom you love, because Avraham has another child, Yishmael, but the one whom Avraham really loves is his son with Sarah, and that is Yitzchak. He says, take the child that you love and sacrifice him. Avraham takes his child up. At that point, Yitzchak is 37 years old, and he's about to sacrifice him, and God intervenes. This story is not a story about blind faith. Avraham didn't say, I'm going to kill my child because God told me I need to kill my child. No. Avraham has seen all of the things that God has given him in his life. That at age 99, his wife was 89. They gave, at 90 and 99, they had their child Yitzchak. Avraham has seen all the things that God has done for him, and Avraham knows that God would not take away this child who is supposed to be the father of all of these people. Avraham was renamed Avraham, Av Hamon, father of many. Abraham's progeny is not going to end with Yitzchak, and he knows this. This is not blind faith. This is eyes wide open faith, and it's relevant to all of us in our lives. We had a tough week here in New York. Mayor-elect Mamdani is not an ally to the Jewish people. He is a scary person. I don't believe he's going to enact Sharia law here in New York, but I do think that his win is going to embolden all of the people who don't like Jews all around the world. They're going to see that someone like him, who speaks with hate, who will not tell Hamas to disarm, who will not recognize Israel as a Jewish state, but we are eyes wide open, we Jewish people. We don't see the world for how it is. We see the world how it could be. We're not frightened of what is going to be because we know that God has a plan. We're eyes wide open. All the things that God has done for the Jewish people, all the ways that the Jewish people have been delivered by God in the past, that is what we keep in mind. And that is how we know that Hashem has a plan. I don't know the plan. I simply would not have chosen this direction for the plan, but that's why I am not God. And I think here we just have to have a little bit of eyes wide open faith. That's the idea. Shabbat Shalom. Wishing you all a peaceful Shabbat.